So Google's AI, Gemini, it's moving at an absolutely breakneck pace, right? But what can it actually do, like today? And what's coming up with this rumored Gemini 3.0? What does all this stuff mean for you? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down the whole Gemini ecosystem, from its core powers all the way to what the future might hold.
Okay, so check this out. Just imagine an AI digging through more than 150 pages of super dense financial reports, just to pull out a few key numbers. This table you're seeing, that's exactly what it did. It's a perfect example of that power, taking all this messy, unstructured info and turning it into a clean, organized summary in just a few seconds. So how is that even possible? I mean, really, the answer comes down to one core idea. All right, so the secret sauce behind Gemini's incredible abilities is something called multimodality. And this isn't just about reading words on a page. No, it's about understanding the world kind of like we do, through different senses. Or in this case, different types of data, all at the same time.
Okay, so here's the really crucial part. Multimodality means Gemini isn't just another language model. It's something more. You can throw a prompt at it that has text, pictures, maybe even some audio all mixed together, and it just gets it. It understands how all those pieces relate to each other, right out of the box. It doesn't have to, translate an image into words first. It literally sees the image. And that, right there, is what unlocks its most mind-blowing powers.
Let's make this real with an example. Just think about all the messy, unstructured stuff we deal with every single day. Gemini is built to take that real-world chaos and just clean it all up, turn it into perfectly organized, totally useful data. So you take a messy, crumpled receipt, right? You could just snap a picture of it, show it to Gemini, and say, hey, pull out the important stuff. And what you get back is something like this, a perfectly structured piece of data all ready to go into an expense tracking app or a database. You didn't have to type anything, it's just instant, accurate data extraction. Pretty cool.
And it's not just for images, not by a long shot. Gemini can sit down and watch a whole 90-minute technical lecture. It's listening to the speaker and it's reading the slides at the same time. And then it takes all of that, the audio, the visuals, and synthesizes it into these unbelievably concise and accurate lecture notes. See, it's understanding both things together, which lets it create a summary that's way better than if it only had the audio or only had the slides. It's the combination that's so powerful.
So we've seen what it can do, the raw power. Now let's talk about how this stuff actually shows up in the real world. And the range here is, well, it's staggering. We're talking about everything from boring old sales decks all the way to creating entire digital worlds.
All right, so in the professional world, Gemini is being baked right into Google Workspace. Imagine you're a salesperson. You open up Gmail, and boom, Gemini instantly gives you a summary of your entire email chain with a client. Then you can use Help Me Write to draft a perfect personalized follow-up. Then you can hop over to Sheets and just say, Help Me Organize, and it'll create a deal tracker for you. And finally, you can generate custom images for your pitch deck right inside Slides, all just by typing what you want. It's really all about automating that boring administrative grind that nobody wants to do.
Okay, now for a complete 180. We go from a sales deck to this. In one single prompt, a user asked Gemini to create a video game. And the result, according to the World of AI channel on YouTube, was a fully functional, totally playable clone of Minecraft. I mean, this isn't just a screenshot of a game. This is the code for a playable world. Just think about that for a second. This is a huge shift in how we create things. We're going from writing code line by line to just describing a world and having the AI build it for you. Wild.
But, as incredible as that is, the real buzz in the AI community right now is all about what's next. We're talking about the next generation, the rumored Gemini 3.0, which is promising a leap forward that could be even bigger than the one we just saw.
Now, full disclosure, nothing's official yet, but the rumored timeline looks incredibly aggressive. Based on Google's past release schedules and some internal signals, the community is kind of penciling in a release for Gemini 3.0 around October 2025. Then you'd probably see API access for developers pretty soon after that, and a full rollout into things like Android and Pixel by early 2026.
So what's the big deal with 3.0? Why all the hype? Well, for starters, the projected leap in multimodality is just massive. We're talking about going from understanding short little video clips to processing real-time video at 60 frames per second. And not just that, but also 3D and geospatial data. On top of that, we're expecting a huge jump in its reasoning skills and its ability to manage multiple tools at the same time. This just blows the doors wide open for what an AI can understand and do in the real world.
The stories coming out of the early A/B testing phase are just mind-boggling. Apparently, it can generate these complex 3D visualizations of exoplanets, create super intricate voxel art from a simple phrase like a pelican on a bike, and even visualize really out there concepts like Dyson spheres. And maybe the most impressive thing? It reportedly solved a math theorem that a paper from Oxford had specifically cited as being unsolvable by any current large language model. That is a serious step up.
Okay, so this all sounds like sci-fi, I get it. But the amazing thing is, you can actually start using the power of the current Gemini models like 2.5 Pro and Flash right now. So let's do a quick run-through of how you, as a developer or just an enthusiast, can get your hands on this stuff.
So, what's the damage? How much does it cost? Well, there's a pretty generous free tier, and after that, the pricing is based on something called tokens. You can just think of them as tiny pieces of words. Now, the key takeaway here isn't to memorize these numbers, it's that Google has different models for different jobs. You've got the big powerhouse, 2.5 Pro, for your really complex thinking and coding, and then you have these Flash models that are super fast and way cheaper, perfect for when you need to do a task over and over again at a huge scale.
And you know what? Getting started is surprisingly easy. There are tools like Google AI Studio, which is all web-based, where pretty much anyone can just jump in and start experimenting, no code required. And for all you builders out there who do want to code, Google gives you all the toolkits you need. Plus, they have this amazing cookbook on GitHub that's just loaded with examples to get you up and running super fast.
But of course, the official story from Google, that's only half the picture, right? To really get the full story, you have to look at what the community is saying. You know, the developers and the power users, what are their hopes? What are their frustrations? What are the hard questions they're asking?
I found this analogy on Reddit, and I absolutely love it. This user compared the progress of AI to video game consoles. Think about it. The jump from an Atari to the first Nintendo. That felt like a massive revolution. But the jump from a PS4 to a PS5? Yeah, it was better, but it felt more subtle, more of a refinement. And so the big question is, are we hitting that point with AI? Are we about to enter a phase of subtle refinements instead of those huge, reality-bending leaps?
And when you dig into the user forums, a really clear wish list starts to pop up. First off, people want better memory and even longer context windows. There's also this recurring frustration that models sometimes feel like they get dumber a little while after they launch, which is probably a way to save on computing costs. And of course, there are the big, ongoing debates about censorship and whether the guardrails and ideology being built in are holding back the model's true intellectual power. In fact, a lot of users are saying, hey, I'd happily pay for a premium tier if it meant I got guaranteed access to more resources and power. And all of this really brings us back to that ultimate question, the one that's hanging over this entire field. With models like Gemini 3.0 just over the horizon, are we on the verge of another massive world-changing revolution like the one we just lived through? Or are we settling in for a long period of just steady, subtle refinements? For now, we don't know for sure, but the answer is just around the corner.